Hi, good evening. Welcome to our fresh episode of Evening Talks with IQI Canada. I am your host for this particular session. My name is Omer Ali Khan. I am the Vice President for Sales and Marketing. And before we get into the whole session, I would be extremely excited, in fact, getting a little bit of goosebumps to see the company that I have next to me. The gentleman is, I would say, simply a specialist in commercial real estate. But just to put it in perspective, I'm somebody who has approximately a decade of real estate experience globally. And this gentleman is actually twice in stature. So none other than Mr. Joseph Wu.
You are disclosing my age.
I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
So I am really excited that I'm having this opportunity to drain some knowledge from my colleague and at the same time put it across to all of you. So maybe it will give us a very clear pathway on the sort of questionnaire that we have. In fact, at the end of the session, should any of you be interested to ask or pop in any questions or queries that you have, do mention it into the messages. How have you been, sir?
I'm doing great, Omar. How are you?
I am excited to
Okay.
begin with.
All right.
We have had a lot of interactions already on the sites and everything that we will obviously discuss with people later on.
Okay.
Keeping it to point, first and foremost, since a lot of people that we were discussing what's happening in Canada in terms of immigration and in terms of real estate. From your perspective, what would you say that for first-time buyers, how is that whole...
You mean for the new immigrants?
For the new immigrants, or in
Okay.
fact even, let's make it a little bit more broader, people who are permanent residents, who are living in Canada for a long time, pretty much all their lives, but they are first-time home buyers.
Okay.
How would you basically guide them in terms of setting up their first purchases?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Omar, for having me here.
Oh.
And I would say that lots of people, they have that kind of misconception about first-time buyer. Okay. Actually, the first-time buyers only useful in residential.
Correct.
When coming to commercial, there is no so-called first-time buyers. Because in residential, first-time home buyer, they receive lots of incentive,
Yes.
right, from the government, from the federal, including their mortgage amount, their interest rate,
Correct.
and so forth. Even HST, right? Some of the we call relief of HST.
Correct.
But when it comes to commercial, commercial is commercial. Okay.
Simple.
And so before we get into that, I would like to, maybe this is not a very proper definition,
Okay.
but without such a definition, it's hard to talk about commercial real estate aside from residential real estate.
Okay.
I always tell people that when you're buying the property and then there's a HST involved, right? And that definitely is commercial.
Okay.
So you are collecting the HST, or seller is collecting the HST for the government,
Okay.
right?
So taxation.
For the government. And I don't think that it happened in residential,
Okay.
right? Because residential supposed to be something not for making profit, because
Yes,
it's for
yes,
your own
yes.
residents, right?
Correct.
But unfortunately that gradually, because this is a free country, so people not just leverage commercial, they also leverage
Residential.
residential,
Correct.
to buy and sell and take advantage such a market trends, right?
Just one thing to add quickly, that is correct. Some people are doing that, but fundamentally, we are seeing a massive influx of immigration coming in.
Yes, yes.
So, it's,
So when come to, we call the first time, I use
Correct.
it, the first time commercial investor
Okay.
or commercial buyer, I would say that, commercial is commercial. If this is a business and you could generate profit, it's a commercial.
correct.
And when come to commercial real estate, same thing, right? So I would say that commercial real estate right now in Toronto, okay, or anyway,
GTA,
in
let's say.
GTA,
Yeah.
it's no longer, it's very, very different than 20 years ago. Okay, 20 years ago, almost everyone, they could afford
Correct.
to buying a commercial property,
All right.
like a small plaza, right? Or those kind of,
Condominiums.
we call street front, the retail,
Right.
something like that.
Right.
But after 20 years, commercial real estate, it's a capital gain.
Correct.
So same thing, for example, the new immigrants. I would say that the first things they need to really look at it is, do they have enough funds,
True.
right?
True.
Do they have enough funds? Because the bank, they give you the mortgage based on your income. Residential, they don't care, right? If you need a house, and then the government give you mortgage. But commercial is very different. The bank or the lender, they look at your profitability to decide how much mortgage that they could give you.
This particular point that you mentioned actually is linked to what we were wanting to ask you, that what are the common misconceptions
Yeah.
that first-time home buyers normally have about commercial real estate?
Commercial, okay. Even any new immigrant, they bought or they buy a commercial property in the first hand, that don't really affect them to be the first-time home buyer when they come to residential.
Lovely.
First, we have to understand that. So
They're the
even they buy
difference.
10 commercial property, they live in a rental house, right?
Yes, yes.
But later on, they want to make money. They want to buy the new residential.
Correct.
They still qualify to be the first-time home buyer and get all the incentive. Okay, so when come to the commercial real estate, I would say that the misconception is that, first, that commercial profit mainly, when come to commercial real estate, mainly coming from a couple of sectors.
Okay,
First, rental income.
Agreed.
Okay,
Correct.
if you have a commercial and it's an office, it's a retail, it's a warehouse, yeah, and then you could take,
You take the rent out of it. The second one will
rental.
be the
And the
capital
second
appreciation.
is the market appreciation of the property.
Absolutely.
Okay, and while market appreciation is supposed to be put number 3.
Okay.
Number 2 is more important, what we call the interest rate.
Good point.
Commercial,
Yes, yes.
there's one termination, that was one terminology we call capitalization.
Correct.
Or capitalization
Yes,
rate.
yes.
When come to commercial, capitalization rate, or we call cap rate, stands with the interest rate.
It keeps floating.
Okay, when the interest rate low, cap rate is low.
Correct.
Interest rate go up, cap rate go up.
Okay.
So which one is better, cap rate going up or going down?
I'll hold you at that.
Yeah.
You guys tell us which one is better. Please put in your comments and messages, and I'll then catch hold of Joseph, and we will then correlate all the answers. So thank you all for your time, and we will be seeing you again.